Do you remember that awesome movie, The Blindside, where the main character, Michael, needed a place to stay and this wealthy white family took him in and adopted him? Did they really? Let's talk about it.
Terrible.
I love Brotha T.
How you doing? This is Terry Wilson, aka yo boy Brotha T, here with another one. So we like to thank you and welcome to the New Life Tree, where we like to give you little pine cones of wisdom for your motivation and mental health. If you don't know what that is, stick around, stay on the channel, you'll get it. Now remember, I don't know everything, but I might know a lot of things. Today, we're going to talk about Michael Oher. Michael Oher is up in arms because his adoptive parents might not be his adoptive parents. What happened? So, as the story of The Blindside goes, I'm going by the movie here. I didn't read the book, right? Heard the book was great. So, by the movie standards, Michael had a rough upbringing, right? To the point where when he became a teenager, he didn't have a stable home, right? He had a lot of problems, and I think his mother was a problem. He had a lot of things going on. He was almost like a loner when he was in high school. At some point, he needed a place to stay. Along came this white family. Actually, it was the white woman, actually, in the story, played by Sandra Bullock. She becomes aware of Michael because, you know, her son is his classmate, the son or daughter, one of them's the classmate. And, you know, Michael is, you know, taken and they start doing things for him and he becomes part of the family, and then they adopted him. However, in real life, they really didn't adopt him. What they did a conservatorship, which gave them rights to contracts or anything pertaining to his life. Very slick. Why did they do a conservatorship? We can speculate, but they told him that it was because he was over 18. They couldn't really do the adoption thing, but it was just language that was kind of but it's kind of like an adoption, but it's kind of not. It sounded like he might have got finessed. So what happens is when the Blindside movie comes out, they start making money, right? They start making money from his life story. Now, some would say, well, they did take him in. They took care of him. Shouldn't they benefit monetarily in some kind of way? I would say, yeah, probably so. The problem is they weren't fully telling the truth. They weren't being forthcoming with Michael. They used this story to make money. They start going on tour talking about adoption and how great it is and people should adopt and people are awesome that adopt when they didn't adopt anybody. And yes, they have made lots and lots and lots of money, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, off of Michael Oher's story. Michael was under the full impression that they adopted him the whole time. He was under that impression. Now, maybe he just didn't know the difference between a conservatorship and an adoption. And he just took them at their word and just thought that they had his best interest at heart. So he never questioned it until he got older and realized, hey, wait a minute, I should be benefiting from my story, right? So, of course, the parents are categorically denying that they were being deceptive in any way. And then they said that they were hurt and everything by what he's doing because he did file a petition in the court, I guess, to get his rights back to his own life. At the end of the day, I think everybody should have the rights to their own story. That's speaking in a literal sense and spiritually. You should be able to write your own story. You should benefit or not benefit from your own story. This is logic to me. So yes, they should have been upfront. They should have said, Michael, you're staying with us, but we consider you part of the family, but we can't legally adopt you. We're going to take this conservatorship and we're going to do the best things for you. We're going to help you get to the point where you're going to be. Yes, we're going to take a little piece and we're going to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get paid for what we do, but we're going to split it with you. They never did that. They just went off. They did their thing and benefited from the whole story. And the story goes that they really only had him for a year or so. So they made it seem in the story like they were really doing a lot. Like they, whatever. But at the end of the day, it is nice. It's a nice gesture when you take someone in that you don't have to take in when you take care of them. However, you also owe that person the truth. Be honest with them. Tell them what you're up to. Say, hey, we want to sell your rights to this movie company. We could split the money with you, but I think it'll be a good thing for both people. Okay? Be honest. If he says no, it's his life, then okay, it's no. If he says yes, then cool. Everybody benefits, but stop trying to be slick about it. Now, Michael says he's not really in love with the movie The Blindside, right? Because he said, for one, it put pressure on him as a player on the field. He doesn't really want all the accolades. He was an offensive lineman, by the way. And their usual personality type is to stay out of the limelight, right? There's not too many offensive linemen you've seen on TV and all that. It's been a few, but not a lot of them, get notoriety and things like that and are all on commercials and TV shows. Okay. So a lot of them are really just want to come do their job, get paid well for their job, go home. So he said it was kind of like that. And he was saying that certain parts of the story really wasn't his life. They embellished certain parts. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he said they embellished the part about his mother in the story. They made her seem a little bit worse than what she was. So at the end of the day, are we going to tell the truth or are we going to be slick and try to finesse? I think my personal opinion, I said it wrong. My personal opinion is that they finessed them a little bit, just a little bit. I think they genuinely care about them. I think they genuinely cared from the get-go. But at the same time, I think I think that they wanted to benefit financially from the situation as well. And they considered it their story just as well as his. When I think at the end of the day, it's more his story than theirs. They were just a part of his story instead of just turning it into their story. This is Terrion Wilson. I enjoyed this one and good luck to both parties. I hope they work it out and I hope they don't start hating each other or stop talking to each other as a result of the petition. This is Terrion Wilson. I'm going to check you next time, family. Peace.